Hello, Internet. It is October 11th, 2022, and I have been meaning to post this draft ever since March, this open letter to the Russian nation. But I have moved and I have not yet recovered from that. But this message, it comes from my heart. I have been urging myself to say this, even though I can't speak Russian. I, speaking as an Anglo-Saxon descent American, we don't hate you. We don't hate the Russian nation. We don't hate the Russian people. I mean, look at our fiction. It imagines a future. Look at Star Trek in particular. It imagines a future with Russians and Westerners and many other people sharing the Earth and exploring the galaxy together in mutual respect, not one nation ruling over another, but all of us, many people. It is a work of fiction with many different authors, and there are caveats, but I won't get into that here. Look at how Russians are depicted in Star Trek. We don't hate your DNA. We don't hate your race. Although, I'll have to say, Russian propaganda seems to refer to Russian DNA with a subtext about cultural identity or something. Perhaps that is something that I would like to cover in another video. I don't see people talking about it enough, but I think it's referring to the history of the Russian nation, about how this region was under constant invasion. But we have propaganda too here in America. We are concerned about our borders a little too much. History shows that it's actually white Yankees who invaded the Southwest, and people who are more racist are talking like it's the opposite thing is happening. I would like to get into that perhaps in another video. But we have propaganda too, xenophobic propaganda. But you don't have to worry about your borders. You don't have to worry about being invaded. What I will cover in this video, we understand propaganda. Putin is a criminal. He's much more of a Nazi than he is accusing Westerners of being. And you should do something about it. I want to first talk about how propaganda it is designed to make you paranoid. It is something that you should not be listening to. It talks a lot about the past. But the past is something that you can overcome. You can change. You can focus on the future of the Russian people. Include yourself in that future. Not long ago, NASA worked on a project an experiment to see if we could nudge an asteroid off course. That's something that you could be working on us with. You could be focusing on helping us with climate change, helping the world with a pandemic, helping the world produce more food, ocean farming, so forth and so forth. International projects that involve nations all the way from tribes of about 5,000 people to nations of a billion people. Instead, you're trying to assimilate the Ukrainians and erase the cultures of Dagestani and Chechens and Nenets and Mongols and so forth. Which would be a better project? One that benefits everyone, or one that doesn't even benefit the Russian people? You don't have to be our enemy. We're not your enemy. It is not the Russian nation that we want to fight. Rather, we want to hold the Russian state, which is enslaving you. We want to hold that responsible for the crimes that it has committed, not just in Ukraine. These crimes are spread out across the world. It is Putin. He's a criminal. That's what he's a criminal. He is a terrorist. He's not even making your people great. He is getting rich off of your resources, your oligarchs. And he is committing election frauds. He is doing this tactic we call fire hosing, where he peppers the media with lies, which should be insulting to you. He is guilty of assassination of political rivals and whistleblowers, and war crimes, theft of gold in Syria, and war crimes such as genocide and terrorism in Syria, in Chechnya, and in Ukraine. The leveling of cities, that's not something the Ukrainians are doing to themselves. He's calling Westerners Nazis for some reason, even though we have gay marriage and Jewish political leaders, black political leaders, and so forth. He's calling Westerners Nazis. But he uses a Nazi playbook. He has appropriated Nazism into Slavic culture. The very language that he uses, it's a parody of what the Nazis did. What he means by Nazi, I guess it means military powers on the Northern European plain. But the worst thing the Nazis did, there was the invasion of Russia, but they did things similar to what he's doing back in Germany. He has no place calling us that. And what he means by Anglo-Saxon, he's saying where us of Anglo-Saxon descent are immoral, using the name of our race to mean immoral. men kissing men is not immoral. Murdering Ukrainians and Chechens and Syrians with bombs and wasting your own people to do that, that is immoral. He has no place saying that about us. When Biden said that he should not be allowed to remain in power, your state said it's not his place to say that. But it is your place to say that. He should not be allowed to remain in power. You have to do, it is your duty, whatever it takes, whether it be escaping Russia or going off into the woods to isolate yourself from the draft or to protest. Do something about that cancer in your society. Isolate it. Sanction it just as we are trying to sanction it. Save the world.